The Niezależna portal reports in recent months that the factory in Jelcz, the main company supplying trucks to the military, has been having big problems. Information is reaching us that it is in arrears with payments to employees. Information is reaching us that the project to build a new factory, a Jelcz subsidiary elsewhere, has basically been abandoned. Because the Jelcz military truck factory's production has dropped from several dozen to only a couple of units, the company is having trouble paying full salaries to its staff. We have reached out to a former employee of the company who points to the reason for the company's poor condition. However, he wishes to remain anonymous. The company, which has the capacity to produce, which has the capacity in the execution of contracts, was managed in such a way that it is unable to execute these contracts and still pays penalties for it. The Jelcz company, which is part of the Polish armaments group, says it now produces 350 vehicles a year, but from 2028 it wants to produce 1,000. If the company is making 350 vehicles right now, even though it used to make 500 even a few years ago, now it is making 350, then how is it supposed to make 700 in a year's time if it can't even make 350? And they're supposed to produce them in the same place without any changes. The Jelcz factory has been making truck chassis for most of the Polish Army's heavy equipment for years. Fatal management of the company and the lack of prospects that lie ahead for this very important company for ensuring the security of our homeland. Recently, the head of the Ministry of Defence announced the award for a major contract for tankers for the Army, dubbed the Contract of the Century. 320 tankers will be in use. Sure, use is already 215 tankers, 105 are optional. The value of the order is more than 1 billion zloty. 1 billion zloty from the Ministry of Defence will go to tankers manufactured by a Polish private company and truck chassis designed for them manufactured by Scania. Jelcz's production does not meet the Defence Minister's expectations, and we are in danger of having to buy military vehicles from, for example, the Scania factory, which is owned by Volkswagen, instead of polonizing American and Korean weapons. Because, under the United Right, there was a plan to expand the production capacity of this strategic company, to build a new factory in Włowice, about 5 kilometers from Jelcz. There was such a project. It envisaged investments on the scale of 700 million zloty. Unfortunately, it didn't start in the last year, even though it was supposed to start, but it didn't. The problem is that now nothing is happening regarding the new Jelcz factory. When it comes to concrete actions, when it comes to concrete decisions, these decisions are made in opposition to the Polish national interest. And what happened? A year of rule by the 13th December coalition was enough. A year of these bad changes in state-owned companies was enough for Jelcz to go from being one of the leading plants of the Polish armaments group to a plant that is now on the verge of bankruptcy. As in the case of PKP Cargo, which collapsed after a year of Tusk coalition rule, the question of the future fate of the Jelcz plant seems to be on the table. It remains to be seen how truck production for the military will develop there under the smiling coalition government.